Welcome back to the channel. So here we are once again. As the NFL season winds down, once again the Dallas Cowboys are on the outside looking in. Another year full of hope and promise, only to be crushed by the harsh reality that this team simply was not good enough. Unsurprisingly, there's been a lot of blame to go around after a 23-17 loss to the Niners, and no one has been safe, and rightfully so. Rumors have begun about the job security of Mike McCarthy, and if he's still the right person to lead the team going forward, with the owner/general manager adamantly upset with the results. There have also been questions about the once highly touted Kellen Moore, and if the offensive struggles are beyond his grasp. Naturally, the players do bear some responsibility after an early playoff exit, notably quarterback Dak Prescott after a less than stellar final month of the season, along with running back Ezekiel Elliott, and the focus of today's video, Amari Cooper. As it pertains to Amari Cooper, he's been no stranger to headlines during his time with the Cowboys for a variety of different reasons, from missing games this season due to COVID-19, his perceived lack of interest in football, including a mysterious absence on the field for critical fourth down play in Philadelphia. The hottest topics to date with Amari Cooper have been his lack of involvement in the Cowboys' offense this year, which were echoed by the owner's comments, along with if he's now expendable and if the Cowboys should part ways with a Pro Bowl wide receiver. With the high cap charge going into next season, it wouldn't exactly be far-fetched, yet still surprising to let go of a player of his caliber. What I want to do today is take an honest look at Amari Cooper on film and determine if in fact he's a declining player and largely responsible for his lack of involvement. Before I get started, I want to ask, if you like this video, leave a like, and if you love this video, hit that sub button for more videos like this one. In order to be critical, yet fair to Amari Cooper, given his pedigree as a premier receiver, I don't find anything wrong with holding him to a higher standard. I also don't think there's anything wrong with looking at his least productive games to see if there's something myself and the Cowboys coaches aren't seeing. For that reason, I'm going to watch Amari Cooper on film in these 4 games for varying reasons. Against Philadelphia, because of the reputation of Eagles defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon to give up soft coverage underneath. In New York, because at that point, the Cowboys offense was struggling in the passing game, and this was deemed a get-right game for Cooper after being held under 100 yards for a month, and on paper, a favorable matchup against the Giants. Lastly, against Denver and the Patriots, because of how often they blitz, presumably leaving Cooper in one-on-one coverage, and each game following a relatively productive game from Cooper. Finally, before I get to the film, in the interest of fairness, I'm going to consider these factors in Amari Cooper's game before drawing a final conclusion as to what Dallas should do with them, juxtaposed to other factors I'll get into later in the video. With that said, let's get started. Let me start by saying, I know receivers aren't paid to block, especially multi-year Pro Bowlers, but the problems with the Cowboys start with their lack of attention to detail and the unwillingness to focus on the little things it takes to win football games. The best way to describe it is inconsistent. That's exactly what you get when you watch Amari Cooper as a blocker in the running game. In some plays, you'll see Cooper initiate contact and give some effort. Right here. He'll mix it up, bring his feet, and he'll do his part in the running game. However, oftentimes, you'll see him make contact with the defender, but that's about it. He'll tap the defender, but not really try to get physical, and for my taste, a little too passive. Again, I get it. You don't pay top money to receivers to block, but this does happen a little bit more than you want to see. Right here, pat and go. Again, contact with the DB, but no leg drive. Then you have these where he flat out whiffs. Doesn't look to actively put a body on the DB and gets caught out there reaching for air. Happens again. Then here we are one more time. It's not just in the running game either. So before I said his blocking was inconsistent, it also happens in the passing game too. The Cowboys had 4th and 1 against Denver and had to pick this up to have any shot to stay in the game. Kellen Moore calls a pick play to Dalton Schultz to get him open in the slot. It's Amari Cooper's job to set the rub for Dalton Schultz. Watch Cooper here. He doesn't set the pick and the defender gets over on Dalton Schultz unimpeded. Dak Prescott looks left immediately, indicating that's where the ball was supposed to go. Because it's not there, Dak is forced to scramble, throw a deep shot to CeeDee Lamb, and the Cowboys are off the field. It's frustrating because in New England, he sets the perfect pick. Slow plays it off the line of scrimmage, cracks Kyle Duggar, and Ezekiel Elliott picks up the first down. When it comes to overall effort, Amari Cooper's motor for doing the dirty work runs hot and cold. As far as route running and getting open, Amari Cooper still has it. In regards to quickness and separating at the top of the route, he can still very much do that. Watch this route and the moves he puts on. He starts here on top, coming in motion. Starts upfield, sells the out and up, then stops on a dime to shake off J.C. Jackson and catches the ball nice and smooth. Now, where I do have questions is if he still has that long speed that we saw back in 2018. Here we have Cooper lined up on top with Darius Slay. From the alignment, it looks like Philly's sitting in cover 3 with a single safety high, and the corners on each side have deep thirds. So with that, we know Slay can't let Cooper get over the top of him. As this plays out, he tries a stutter step to get over the top of Slay, but it doesn't work, and Slay is there with him step for step, never letting Cooper get far past him. Then, again, here's Cooper lined up on J.C. Jackson at the bottom of the screen. Cooper takes an outside release hoping to beat Jackson with pure speed, but Jackson is there with Cooper step for step, and in a great spot to make a play on the ball. It's not to say that he can't get the step on somebody. It's that he has to be more crafty to do it. Here's an example. Right here, he's lined up on Ron Darby. Off the snap, he takes one big step, then he hesitates, freezing Darby to catch him flat-footed, and right away gets over the top of Darby. Had he carried this route vertical, that's a huge gain for Dallas. But this last play is where I say he's still special in running his routes. Here he is lined up inside. The corner will give him inside leverage, which means he's going to let Cooper get inside to funnel him to the linebacker. Cooper breaks hard inside, then back outside, getting a nice cushion and turns the corner all the way around. There's not many guys that can do this, and in that department, Cooper is still top notch. If anything, Dallas should give him more chances to show off his creativity as a route runner in plays just like this. Speaking of getting Cooper chances to show what he can do, the last thing I want to point out on film was the opportunity, or lack thereof, Cooper has been given to make plays, a point he himself made this year. There seem to be a lot of reasons for that. The first reason, I think, is the decline in the Cowboys' offensive line. This play is a prime example of that. Amari Cooper is at the bottom of the screen in the slot and runs a deep post in front of the safety. Dak Prescott is looking his way, but Fletcher Cox drives Connor Williams back into Dak Prescott, forcing Prescott out of the pocket and Amari without a target. The other reason for his lack of involvement is simply not being made a priority. Here's some plays that show what I mean exactly. Cooper's lined up at the top of the screen and runs a curl route. The ball doesn't go his way, and in the small picture, it's not that big of a deal. However, it's been said more than once, the Cowboys don't feature their best playmakers and get them the ball. Take a look around the NFL's best offenses. They get their best weapons the ball early and often. Here's an example against the Giants. The Cowboys go hard play action to the left, and Cooper goes across the field. Almost immediately, he's open in the middle of the field, but Prescott holds the ball for an extra second, and the window closes before Lorenzo Carter tips the pass in the air. Not making Cooper a primary receiver on a play leads to the Cowboys to leave big plays on the field, and that also includes touchdowns. In the same game, here's Cooper up top. The safety, Xavier McKinney, is walking down outside the right hash mark before backing off in a cover 2. You could argue the window is tight along the right sideline, maybe too tough to hit, but this shows up in the same game. Again, Cooper up top, running a go route against cover 2. Dallas fakes hard play action to the left. The corner James Bradbury stays in the flat, and McKinney is caught flat-footed. Dak has Cooper for a touchdown if he throws the ball, and Cooper, one hand in the air, knows it. Instead, Prescott goes to CeeDee Lamb, who has a drop out of a couple in this game. Against Philly, it's something similar. Here's Cooper on the bottom of the screen in what looks to be a cover 2 from the Eagles. Cooper runs a corner route to the back corner of the end zone, where he seems to be open, and the Eagles bust the coverage. As you can tell, Darius Slay will point to the safety to pick up Cooper, which he doesn't. But the ball doesn't go his way. They check down to Ezekiel Elliott, who stops short of a touchdown, and then on the following play are stopped on 4th down, taking points off the board. The last play I want to show you is Amari Cooper against J.C. Jackson. On this play, they call a blitz, leaving Jackson in man coverage with no safety help. Right away, Amari Cooper beats him, and there's nothing between him and the end zone. If Dak Prescott can hang in there against the blitz, it's an easy 6 to Amari Cooper. When looking at Cooper's entire body of work and deciding on whether or not Dallas should keep him, you have to ask yourself a few questions. First, is the contract and cap hit worth the trouble? Over the next 3 years, Cooper will cost the Cowboys a cap charge of $22 million annually, and as it stands, Dallas is currently 21.6 over the cap. The Cowboys could find ways to get under the cap creatively, but cutting Cooper could save them $16 million. The other question to ask is, how dependable is Amari Cooper? Or, how available is he? While Cooper missed 2 games this year due to COVID-19, he hasn't missed a single game in Dallas due to injuries. Long story short, if Cooper can play, he will. That's all the more important when you consider Dallas' other top receivers. CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, and Cedric Wilson all missed time this past season due to injuries. Speaking of those same players, the last question Dallas has to ask themselves is how comfortable they would be at wide receiver without Cooper, given the uncertainty of his counterparts. Both Gallup and Wilson are free agents, and while talented, Lamb doesn't look ready to be the number 1 in Dallas. Considering all those factors, and the film, it would be in Dallas' best interest to keep Cooper around for 1 more year and get him the ball a lot more than last year. There have been conflicting reports on whether or not he'll be back, but like I said, I'd make the money work for 1 more season. And if you weren't sure about whether or not to bring him back, hopefully I provided some new perspective. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and if you agree or disagree. Once again, thanks for watching, and as always, Cowboys up. Peace.